This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings and, of course, to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
My husband literally died watching this TikTok. Thanks for the laughs.
Easiest way to make $1 million is buy something that's $10 million, buy it for 8, and you sell it to somebody else for 10.
It's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? You know what I mean? Sometimes I think, right, we overthink it. You know what I mean? I think we just need simple solutions, you know, for simple problems, you know?
Easiest way to make $1 million is buy something
that we want to start off with the video because me and Anthony, we laugh at this one a lot because the power of arbitrage, people sleep on the power of arbitrage. And like people have been doing this stuff for years. I mean, years, literally. So I was literally watching a TikTok video and a guy, he would buy like the Slingshot, which is like the 3-wheeled cars. He bought it in another city, drove 6 hours away and sold it for like $7,000 to $10,000 more just by doing it in the other city. And the video like made me laugh because that's what Anthony did. Anthony would go, he would buy pickup trucks and he'd fly to Austin, he'd fly to Dallas, go pick up that truck, bring it back to San Antonio because he can sell it for more. And it's the power of arbitrage. Freaking hilarious.
I drove to, I actually took a plane to Dallas. I picked up a Ford F-250 that I got for $5,000 and I sold it the next day for $10,000 in San Antonio. Just drove it 5 hours away.
So this is the power of arbitrage. So the power of arbitrage, and like, yes, Hormozi's talking about millions of dollars, but Anthony, what do we do in the land game?
Man, we do the exact same thing. So that's why that video is so disturbing. So the first time we saw the video with Hormozi, we were excited. We were like, dang, heck yeah, that's the game, bro. Like we're sending it to each other. We're freaking digital high-fiving, right? Because he's in LA, I'm in San Antonio. And I was like, this is cool. I was like amazed. This is like dope. It's so freaking smart. Hey, guess we're already doing the same thing. And then it started kind of going viral of people making videos, making fun of him. And I was like, oh, like the dude just gave away the most powerful information on the planet, right? Because when we think about arbitrage, we're thinking of Bitcoin arbitrage, where you buy a Tether or whatever, you buy a Doge on this site for like 0.008 cents, and then you sell it on another site for 0.01. And we're like freaking, I made a fraction of a penny, and everybody's high-fiving. The smartest thing to do in 2017 and in the last years and the last run-up before the crash. But if you apply it to a $10 million deal, people are laughing like, oh, man, that's so stupid. Like, oh, man, he just gave you so much game right now, and people are passing by on it. So like, let's make a freaking video about this.
And the reason why me and Anthony love that video because it was so simplistic that we showed it to our mastermind students, the same video. I'm like, hey, check this out. And like me and Anthony, like we see it plain as day. Like we understand that sentiment, the value, and we understand that 100%. But like to see a video making fun of it and then a video making fun of it, it's just like, oh man, it goes over their head. Like they totally missed the gem. And I think we talk about this all the time is that sometimes people aren't ready to hear the information. And yeah, they might think they're laughing. It was a hysterical moment they had in their TikTok day, but we laugh all the way to the bank.
Yeah. So think about that, right? What are we doing right now in the land game, right? You can get a house, right? You're doing arbitrage and wholesaling. You get a house under contract for $100,000, retail value on it's $250. You sell it to an investor for $140. You made 40 G's, and all of your friends are making videos, and they want to interview you because you made 40 grand in 30 days or 45 days, right? And they carry you across the freaking, everybody's cheering for you. Well, in our world with land, we just flipped 2 acres right now. I'm at 80 G's. right? So that we arbitrage on just 2 acres. Now we're looking at deals that are in the millions, 1.8 million, 2.5 million, and we're doing the exact same thing. So we're able to arbitrage 20, 30, 40% out of these deals. So now instead of us looking at deals where you can flip a house for $5,000 or $6,000 or $8,000, our deal is starting to look like 400,000, right? We have one closing hopefully in the next 23 days. It's going to bring in 300,000, right? We have some in the pipeline that are going to take probably 6 months to complete the deal. 1.5 million, 1.7 million, 400,000, 500,000. So it's the exact same principle. So check this out. Now let's get on the Hormozy level. I have a deal in Houston where the lady wanted $10 million for her land. 10 million, 500,000. She was going to give us 500,000 if we could bring a buyer. We fell short. We had somebody that had 9. She shut us down. But we found a deal now. She says, I would trade it for some land if you can find land by San Antonio in this area. It's called New Braunfels. So now we have a deal there that we're looking to lock up for 3.2 million. We messaged the seller from Houston. Okay, this is like 9 months later. Okay, this is not like 1 week to the next. But now we asked her if she would trade this 160 acres for 400 acres over by Houston. This is in a way more valuable area, way more exploding area, way more up and coming area. But we're looking to take that exact same principle where we would take a $3 million property and trade it for a $10 million property. So who's laughing now?
And I bring this up to be on Twitter because like one thing cool about land is you can sell directly to the retail market. You can skip selling to investors. And me and Anthony always talk about this all the time, but I saw this on Twitter yesterday. Wholesalers talking about, you need to make sure you write in the investor profit too, because that's where the investor's going to buy it. I mean, Anthony, like, man, F the investor. We're selling to retail.
What was my famous quote? I was like, why do I need a middleman? I'm the middleman.
Yeah, I don't need another middleman. We don't need another middleman. So, and it's comical because like wholesalers literally built their whole business around selling to other buyers, and they built in that profit for them to nestle it all up in a nice bow. But they're laying up all that money of all the hard work they did to arbitrage that deal, and they gave it to a nice bow to another buyer that's going to make a huge amount of money on it. Come on, guys.
I've had wholesalers bring me stuff that I made 50 grand on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you kind of dropped the ball. One deal, 400,000, right? So if you think about that, we go directly to the end buyer. I always say this for wholesalers, right? They think they're geniuses. I'm a wholesaler. We do wholesaling too. So I'm not trying to make fun of anybody in particular. I'm just saying like, a typical wholesaler, they go through and then they take 2 pay cuts. They take 2 pay cuts and then they go on Facebook and brag about it. So
they build in that haircut.
They're taking 2 haircuts. Imagine going to Great Clips, getting a haircut, leaving, going to the barbershop next door and taking another haircut. That's what all the 99.9% of wholesalers do. So what they're doing is they're taking the property, they're getting it at a great price, and so they're losing money when they sell it to the investor, and then the deal's done for them. They get their paycheck, but they're taking a second loss when the investor sells it to the retail end buyer. So you're missing 2 paychecks out of that deal. We're going to arbitrage straight from the property owner, and we're selling it straight to the retail end buyer at full price or above ARV, like above comps. How many times have realtors came up to us and said, hey, nothing's ever sold for that in that area. You guys are never going to get that. Then what happens next?
Too many times, man. Too many times. Like the agents think they're the gods, and they set the prices of why they buy it at. But here's the thing: we don't go to their buyers either most of the time.
God. Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to their buyers, and so what agents are funny too. I love agents to death. I think I'm actually going to end up getting licensed sooner or later. But what they do is they when they're looking to list a property, they tell the seller that they're going to get way more than they know that they could probably bring in for it. And then when they're looking to lock somebody in to get a buyer representation agreement, they're promising they're going to find something for pennies on the dollar, some crazy price. Like all the comps say 20,000 in this area, and then they talk to us and like, why do you guys want 25? We can't do that. Like, yes, you can. If your guy wants it, he'll do it. Just on that deal yesterday, they sent us an offer. They wanted $300 for a 30-day option and that 30-day close. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like 1% non-refundable, no option at all. And she messaged back today. They said they'll do it. Of course you will. Of course you will. So God bless you, agents, brokers that are watching this. You know, like I said, I think we're still going to get into that game as well. But there's a lot of different ways to play this game. You know, it's not just you got to stop thinking about real estate in the traditional sense. It is just all based on arbitrage, 100% arbitrage. And
like for all the agents listening, there's good agents. Not gonna lie, there's good agents, but
there's tons of them in Hive Mind. We love them to death.
80% of them are bad.
Not bad. They're just underinformed because somebody taught them to, you know, their grandpa's way to do it and their grandma's way to do it. That's probably still running the brokerage, and then that's all they've ever learned. So I have agents that hit me up all the time that work for brokerages, and they're like asking me all these questions. Like, well, how do you guys do that? How does this work? They're just completely mind blown based on what we're doing, but it's all just the power of arbitrage, being able to capture something from the marketplace and move it to another place in the marketplace without doing anything. So let's take the Hormozi example again. I want to go back to this because it sounds funny on video, but it's like, let's do a little breakdown. So he's saying you buy something that's worth 10 million for 8 million, right? And then you sell it for 9, and then you make $1 million, right? And people are like, but I don't have the 8 million. Any contract, right? I don't care what kind of business contract you're in, and this is not legal advice, talk to your attorney, et cetera, et cetera. If you're going to do any kind of contract that's worth, you know, time and money, right? And most real estate contracts are, but if you're buying a business and it's worth $10 million, if you're buying a piece of property that's worth $10 million, if you're, I don't even know what else you can buy besides business and real estate that's worth $10 million. I'm sure there's machines, I'm sure there's a lot of things, but none that I can quickly reference. But if you're making that type of purchase, there's always a contingency period or an option period where you have time to do some homework. Nobody's going to move $10 million in 30 days or like from one day to the next. Not typical anyway. So you have this period where you have like a due diligence phase. During that due diligence phase, you're probably going to call some of your friends and some of your business contacts, and you're going to ask them, hey, I'm going to buy this thing for $10 million. Would you want to get in on this? Right? So during that due diligence period, what are you doing? You're effectively shopping the deal out. Right? And that's a gray area. Maybe there's different laws depending on what you're doing and how you're putting the deal together. But it's not like you have to write a check for $8 million and then turn around and sell it for 9. Once you contract that property, once you go out into the marketplace and find this property, find this business, and you contract that thing to purchase for $8 million, you're going to have plenty of time to do some due diligence, all that. And that's up to you, up to your negotiating skills, legal, what's you know, on par for that industry or that type of asset. But you're probably going to have somewhere between 30 days and a year to look at that deal. Right? So you get it under contract for $8 million. You might need to put a considerable amount of earnest money for a deal like that. It might be $80,000, right? $800,000. You never know. But same thing. You sign some paperwork. You deposit a small check, which you can get from a third party. So you're still zero out of pocket if you're completely broke, but you're good at sourcing deals. Now you have this contract for $8 million. You turn around, you bring in a partner or an end buyer, and then you arbitrage, you move that contract to a new end buyer for $1 million profit for yourself. And how do you provide value? Why is this legal? Why is it possible? Why would somebody do that? If a company's in a position to buy a $10 million business and they're getting it for 9, they're loving you. They don't even care if you made $1 million profit. So it's not doing something shady. You're not disrupting the marketplace. You're not even playing in a gray area. If somebody brings me a $10 million apartment complex for 9, I love that guy. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think the bigger the like value of the property, the more grace period you get to extend that time period to even work that deal. So where people in houses, they have 30 days or less to move that property, we get 90 days minimum or more.
Yeah. Some of these wholesalers call us and they're like, I got 7 days. I got to close in 10 days. Like, how are you going to move $1 million land deal in 7 days? What were you thinking, Carl? Right? And us, we get a deal under contract. We're getting 90 days, 6 months, a year, right? And that's just the nature of the beast. Again, if you're going to move something that's worth $2 or $3 or $4 million, everybody understands that that's the very slow move. So yeah, thanks guys. You know, we appreciate it. And I think this is a good one. If you watch this thing a couple of times, check it out. Let this play into your memory banks. Again, we're trying to arbitrage a $3 million for a $10 million deal. So that whole Hormozi thing with everybody laughing at them just went right over their head. Take a deeper look, pay a little bit more attention, be a little bit more humble, and you're going to learn a lot. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Open up your mind for perspective. We'll see you on the next episode. Go leave us a review on Apple. Leave us a review on Apple.
Go to the Apple. Leave us a review on Apple on our podcast. It would super help a lot if you're getting value from this. If you've been following us for a while, help us out. Hive with us.
Bye.
Hey guys, so the Hive Mind is launching a new program where we're helping you work deals that are valued at $1 million and up. If your deal is worth $980,000, we don't want to take a look at it. You can submit those deals to us at submitbigland.com and we'll help you comp the deals. If it's good, we'll help you close it and we'll also help you fund it and sell it. Check us out, submitbigland.com, milliondollarmastermind.com, and wholesaling $1 million land deals on Facebook. Thanks guys.